Do you think rationally or do you think emotionally? Today, I'm going to help bridge the gap between these two forms of thinking and tell you why this is so relevant to your life and what you should do in order to start making decisions more effectively and how you should think under different circumstances. Hey self helper, do you think rationally or do you think emotionally? And which one is actually better for you? Let me break it down for you in this video. Whenever we look at human beings, it's important to remember that we are emotional creatures first and then we are rational or logical thinkers. And which emotions do we actually trigger under different situations? It's very important to keep these under consideration because it affects the decisions we make in day-to-day life. For example, let's start off with the bad side of things, the negative aspects. We feel a certain way and that reflects our reality on the outside. For example, I have a negative thought about the outside that I feel that my relationship is not working out and therefore it's true that the relationship is not working out. Again, I'm acting based on my emotion and developing a negative interpretation that things are not working out in the relationship. And I start to believe that the more I think in that fashion. What is wrong with that form of thinking? You need to tell me that. Remember that every time we act based on such emotions, our negative emotions are designed to help us avoid pain. We do not want to go through pain, and for that reason, we start to rationalize it that because I am feeling this way, that's the way things actually are. That I am not convinced that I love this person, that it's not reflecting in the way I go about putting effort into this. That's important to consider. We develop emotional reasoning. And in reality, that may not reflect how things actually are in the relationship, but we choose to believe them over a period of time. So getting back to the point, should we think rationally or should we think emotionally? And which one serves us better? The fact of the matter is this. If I am someone who thinks about how I go about making a decision, it's always going to be my emotional decision that comes first and then I rationalize it. If you read this book called Start With Why by Simon Sinek, I'll link it up down in the description box for you. Go and buy that book. It's a tremendous read. In that book, he tells us that we act based on emotion and we justify that act with our logic, our reasoning. Remember that our emotional brain, the amygdala and hippocampus, play a much bigger role in decision making than our rational brain, or it acts 80,000 times faster than the frontal cortex, which is involved in decision making. So if I wanted to buy a car, I really wanted that car so badly and nothing was going to stop me. That desire is coming from my emotion. Now, I may justify it with logic and tell myself, you know what, that car has amazing specs. That car gives 15 miles for the liter. I may justify it, it's a really good looking car. I mean, it's going to impress a lot of people. I may justify it with n number of reasons, but the reality is that it's an innate, a desire, an emotion that is triggering my decision to buy that car. And humans are not very good at describing emotions. Think about it. How do you describe the feeling of love? You tell someone that you love that person, but it's your rational brain that is telling you that the feeling of love is being expressed. Now, it's very difficult to put it into words. That's what I'm trying to tell you, that whenever we feel a certain way, we feel angry, we feel love, we feel hate, or we feel pride or joy, it's very difficult to verbalize these emotions. It's difficult to express why we feel a certain way in words. So that internal emotion is difficult to express, and this emotion acts 80,000 times faster than any kind of thinking that is coming from here. The prefrontal cortex, the site of decision making that is going to help you justify your decision for choosing to buy or go through with a certain emotion. Remember that if we are to create more powerful decisions that are going to benefit us in the long run, we need to make wiser decisions that are going to be either skeptical or decisions that where we spend a little bit of more time thinking about what we are going to do. Now, there are a lot of people who act based on their gut. What is that? It's just acting based on emotion. We make emotional decisions all the time and we justify it later with this thought process that, you know what, I behaved in this fashion and I justify it with words. I tell myself that's why I decided to buy that car. That's why I chose to love that person. It's this constant cycle that we get into. So remember that if you are going to make a decision, either be skeptical about the decision you're going to make, question the decision a little bit, but make sure it's a definitive decision in the end. So go through with a decision after thinking about it for a little while and then make the decision. Because when you jump to a conclusion, you make a decision immediately, what happens is you're acting based on emotion. And most of the time, unless you're someone who's a really good thinker, someone who can think accurately, if you're not someone who can think accurately, you act based on emotion. You invest in a stock that may give you great returns or it may leave you bankrupt. So think about it. A lot of us act based on emotion. When we act based on emotion, we are not thinking of the consequences. We are not thinking about the possibilities of what could go wrong, what may not work out. So thinking rationally plays a very important role. So if you can think about different situations, first of all, understand if you're a person who acts primarily based on emotions or you act logically, you're a little skeptical, you take your time with making certain important decisions. That makes a big difference. Because when you think accurately, you think about the end result. What is this going to do for me? What are the possible losses I may suffer? What are the benefits I may get? Then you put yourself in a position to make better decisions. And when you make better decisions, that sets up a good habit of decision making, a decision making habit that is based around accurate thinking. So that's very important to consider. So think about that. Are you someone who acts based on rational thoughts or are you acting purely based on emotion? Remember the emotional pathway. We make decisions based on emotion first and then we justify it with logic later on. We can never truly describe the inner emotions that we feel, but the words we use, the way we act, it comes close to helping us to understand why we act a certain way, why we choose to buy certain things, why we choose to be around certain people, why we hate certain aspects of things that are going on in our life. That is a very critical thing that you need to start thinking about starting today. So preferably make your decisions in a skeptical fashion, take your time and then make a decision versus making an emotional decision that could lead you into trouble. Spend a little bit of more time and then things will work out absolutely great for you. So if you found this video useful, make sure you leave it a thumbs up and tell me what you thought about it down in the comment section below. Ask me a question about what you want to learn and what you want to improve upon in your life, because each and every day I am posting videos just for you to have you perform better, have you motivated and empowered in every single area of your life and have you become the best version of yourself. That's the goal of this channel and we are doing it every single day. That's why I'm conveying my knowledge to you so that you can benefit from it and make significant change in a positive fashion in your life. So if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe and hit bell notifications. You don't want to miss even a single video coming out of my channel. Check out all of my videos because they are designed to make a big difference in your life. This is Vikram signing off and I'll see you in the next session.